You have surely experienced at least once in your life, if you have been somewhat unfortunate to date a toxic person, or if you have been extremely unlucky to marry one. Of course, a toxic person doesn't necessarily have to be your partner. They could be your friend, a colleague at work, or even a distant or close relative. In this video, I want to show you 7 signs of a toxic relationship. So stay tuned to find out exactly what makes these people toxic. Hello friends, welcome. I'm Kurosh, and today I want to talk about the 7 signs of a toxic relationship. So let's dive straight into the signs. Many toxic relationships begin very attractively and can even seem pleasurable. In other words, you're experiencing what is called a honeymoon phase. This is actually a technique the toxic person uses to draw you into the relationship, so you don't doubt anything and wholeheartedly invest yourself. Oblivious to the word, you might think you finally find your missing half, but this is just the beginning. After a while, you suddenly realize the person you're with seems different. They are not the same person you first met. This is when the signs start to emerge. Sometimes deep down you might feel that something's off. Remember to always listen to this inner voice, because in 90% of the case, your instincts are warning you. Some people recognize this and quickly cut such individuals out of their lives, but sometimes these signs go unnoticed. Those who don't recognize these signs more often than not were raised by toxic or narcissistic individuals during their childhood, and a lack of proper defense mechanism against toxic behaviors. All these behaviors seems normal to them, and they might remain in such relationship for years or decades. Even after gaining awareness, they might still be unable to leave the relationship. Now, let's together examine these 7 behaviors. Toxic individuals generally enjoy creating chaos and picking fights. They do this even over the most trivial matters, which, if you look at from outside, might make you laugh. Eventually, they pit everyone against each other, and in the end, they blame it on you, claiming you caused everything to turn out this way, or citing similar reasons. It's as if you always need a broom in your hand to clean up their mess. I explain in detail in upcoming videos why they behave this way and the exact reason behind their actions. Another thing that they fail to do is compromising. This inability to compromise, when you look at it from the psychological perspective, stems from a lack of empathy within these individuals. This means that since they cannot even love or care for themselves, they won't be able to love or care for you or anyone else. You know, one of the crucial factors you should have is ability to first love yourself, so that others can also love you. When you're in a toxic relationship, it feels as if you're invisible. Your feelings and your requests seems to have no value for your partner. You always find yourself compelled to share your pains and private life with others, hoping it might provide some solace. And if by chance you make a mistake, and even if you're apologizing for it, the toxic person won't leave you alone until they exact their revenge. This is because there is absolutely no empathy in these individuals, and they lack any conscience that would make them feel bad for you. Another thing is that they always trying to control you. From who you are talking to on the phone right now, to who sent a message to you, or where are you going. This is one of the techniques that toxic person use to showcase their dominance in such relationship. On the surface, they seem very confident, but in reality, they aren't. This dominance gives them a false sense of self-confidence, tipping the balance of the power in the relationship in the favor of the toxic individual. If you don't have boundaries or so-called red lines, they will control you easily. Many mistake this for love, saying things like, "My husband really loves me, he's just very jealous." This kind of belief is quite common. Clear sign of one-sided relationship is when you work and strive for a relationship like a full-time employee without receiving any compensation or benefits in return. Not only do you not receive anything, but the toxic individual, disregarding your efforts, keep demanding more and more from you. Whether you give them, it's always insufficient for them, and their demand just keep increasing. In reality, your efforts are fruitless. Even if you were pluck the moon out of the sky and offer to them, it would be like dropping a pebble into the bottomless pit. They still want more from you. The absence of safety and trust in the relationship is more than just an emotional void. It's a dark cloud that hangs over an individual, overshadowing their every movement and affecting every facet of their life. When trust, which is the foundation of any relationship, is continuously undermined, it doesn't just create doubt about the partner, but also seeds self-doubt. An individual may constantly walking on eggshells, fearing the next outburst or betrayal from their partner. This constant state of high alert can lead to chronic anxiety. Over time, this psychological strain can manifest physically. One might experience unexpected aches, pains, or even illness, which medical professionals might find challenging to diagnose. The body in such case is sounding an alarm about the emotional and psychological turmoil the person is enduring. In essence, a toxic relationship doesn't just scar the heart, but can also leave indelible mark on mind and body. Recognizing this sign and seeking help, whether it's therapy, counseling, or simply distancing oneself from the source of toxicity, can be a pivotal step toward healing and reclaiming one's life. In any relationship, there are lines that shouldn't be crossed. These boundaries represent the respect and expectation of each individual within the relationship. When someone enters our life, they should approach us with an understanding and recognition of these boundaries. Sadly, many individuals ensnared in toxic relationship either haven't clearly defined their personal boundaries or haven't managed to uphold them. In such relationship, even if you clearly communicate your boundaries, the toxic individual might continue to disregarding them. And if you try to address or protest these boundaries violation, you might face sudden anger and even aggressive reaction from them. Delving deeper into the fabric of societal and cultural dynamics, we unearth a pattern familiar across the global context. Discrimination manifesting in myriad of ways. Amidst the various red flags that signal a toxic relationship, that blatant exercise of a double standards shine as a particular stark indicator. Imagine this scenario: if your oppressor arrives home late, they shield themselves with justifications, asserting their autonomy and considering their actions beyond reproach. Yet let the table turn. If you, even for a single occasion, return home a tad late, they wouldn't hesitate to unleash a wave of reprimands upon you. Their entitlement sees no bounds, and the methods of punishment they employ can range from subtle manipulation to overt hostilities. Toxic relationship can manifest with far more signs than ones I've shared. For this discussion, I've highlighted only 7. I urge you, if you ever find yourself in relationship that feels oppressive, that suffocates your freedom and fills you with distress, seek professional therapy. Repercussion of enduring the action of an abuser can be profound and long-lasting, potentially leading to extended bouts and depression and anxiety.